have clip palette.
Smile again. Perfect. Okay, that's live. That's live. I'm doing great. It's good. Awesome. All right, Super Saturday show here. I'm here with Jack Maddux. He's running for Congress for the 4th District, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's currently held by who?
Congressman Desjardins.
Desjardins. And so that's quite a little battle you got in front of you here, right?
I've been told I have a big mountain to climb and long road to go, a wide road to plow.
Sure, lots of work in front of you nonetheless. So I'm going to just ask you some real quick questions. I want to learn more about you. I want to tell all my friends about you so that way when they go into the ballot box, they'll know Jack. All right? That's the plan.
All right.
So what do you do for a living?
Now, today I'm director of sales for an engineering company. We do automation projects, cybersecurity projects, process control network, and things like that. We're an engineering firm.
Okay.
So I have a home office there in Cleveland, and then we have satellite offices, throughout the country. We actually have one in Nashville.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you travel throughout the district there basically then?
Yes.
Just about? Awesome. Where do you call home right now?
Cleveland, Tennessee.
Cleveland, Tennessee. Where's that in relation to Murfreesboro?
It is south east from Murfreesboro.
Southeast of Murfreesboro.
Right on the other side of Chattanooga.
Okay, gotcha. All right. I'm a real estate agent, so I like to ask at least one question in regards to real estate. How old were you when you bought your first house?
I'm going to say I was probably 26.
26, okay.
Might have been 25, but I'm going to think 26.
Was it a good decision?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to get leverage anywhere else, right? Especially when you're young. Let's see here. So why are you running for office?
I like that question.
I figured you would.
So here's the thing. I'm a believer, and I'm sitting at home the day after the inauguration last year, and I seen all those abortion protests in Washington, and for me that broke my heart that day. So I was sitting there, had tears in my eyes. My wife walked in the living room. She said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, my heart's breaking for all these babies that don't get to be born, and these people just don't seem to care." So been a pretty spiritual guy as of late, and I prayed to God.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was one of those moments I felt like God was saying, get up and do something about it.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there and wallow in it. Do something about it.
Yeah, sure.
So I started looking at where our current congressman stood on life.
Okay.
I found that he had a pretty good voting record, but where I struggle is that if you ask him when his life began, he's going to tell you he doesn't know.
Okay.
This is not Jack saying this. This is Sam Stocker done an interview with him back in 2016. He told Sam Stocker that.
Oh, wow.
And that was after a Warren County candidate event where he was asked that question about Joe Carr, matter of fact, and he failed to answer the question.
Wow.
And Joe was very specific about that question, when does life begin? Sure. Well, that answer should be conception if you're pro-life. And so I also got to digging a little more, and I found out that you remember when Planned Parenthood was up on Capitol Hill, Cecile Richard, and they had these committees questioning them. Our congressman didn't ask a single question of Planned Parenthood. He passed the microphone when it was his turn. So that was strike one for me.
Sure, sure.
So there was my strike one. I'm like, man,
he's got a checkered past on this subject.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't even like
right. We don't have to go into that, but I can see why he passed the mic because of that. But,
yeah. And here today, I would want him to say that life begins at conception, and I would want him not to pass the mic.
Sure. Because he's representing you. Right. Exactly. So
and the past is the past for me. As far as I know, Congressman Desjardins said that was a different time in his life, and he asked for forgiveness. So I'm willing to forgive all that stuff.
Great.
So strike two for me is if you go Google quietest congressman, there is an article that pops up about our congressman.
Wow.
So in 2016, that article was written in December, toward the end of that session, and he has spoken from the floor one time during that whole session. And that was about the Cornbread Festival in Marion County.
Yeah.
Now, I like the festival as good as anybody, but I think we have a lot of things we should be talking from the floor about.
There are a lot of issues here in Tennessee that he could be talking about.
So that's strike 2.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, maybe this is where God has taken me.
Mm-hmm.
Strike 3 is I got to looking at his legislative record.
Mm-hmm.
And as of today, and I went and looked at Congress.gov. You can go look at Congress.gov and look at, you can break it down to where it says, his sponsored bill that he's done. He has written 23 bills, and he's in his 8th year, and none of them have gotten to the House and the Senate. One of them back in 2012 got to the House and stalled in the Senate.
Okay.
So no legislation written in 8 years. To me, that's kind of paying somebody to sit on the bench.
I see.
And so a lot of people say, yeah, but I don't like legislation. I don't want them to write more laws. But remember, in order to get rid of bad legislation or bad regulation,
you have to write regulation to
get
rid of it.
You have to legislate get rid of it.
So he hasn't gotten rid of any either, is what you're saying. Right. Yeah. Okay.
So for me, when I think about it, I think, well, we got a congressman that doesn't know when life begins, that's quiet, that's not going to speak up for life because he's quiet, that doesn't legislate.
I see.
Has a conservative vote record for the most part, but voting is a given. When we send him there, we expect him to vote conservative.
Sure.
But we also expect him to do all these other things, to be outspoken. I think it's time for the 4th District to have a leader.
I see.
That's going to be outspoken, speak up for our values, not necessarily fall in line, be a little disruptive.
Sure.
And that's why I decided
to run. Yeah. All right.
And run for Congress because, I just felt like it was time for a change.
Okay.
I think he's been given his shot. He's been there for 8 years and just not done a whole lot for us. And,
I see.
So.
Yeah. No, makes sense. I've run against incumbents. It's hard work. It's so but you got to have good reasoning, and you definitely do. Let's see. What about who's your political hero? Now you're a Republican, so you can't say Reagan because that's too easy. But do you have a political hero that you look up to? Somebody you think has did great things for the country? Or you answer that. Don't let me answer for
you. You stopped me there with Reagan.
I know every Republican always says Reagan, so I go on and take him out. You can't use him.
I like Congressman Buck from Colorado.
Okay, why do you like him?
He's written a book about the slump.
Okay.
And in that book, he talks a lot about how Washington is more corrupt than what we ever realized.
Huh.
And I can't remember the name of the book. I'm sorry, but it's something to do with the slump.
I'll Google it and put it in the show notes later. So.
Yeah. But what Congressman Buck is talking about is when you win Congress, and one thing Congressman Buck said is that most people wait until they get out of Congress to write a book about how corrupt Congress is.
Sure.
But he wanted folks to know, he wanted his citizens of Colorado to know and the citizens of the United States to know that it's more corrupt than we ever thought. When he got there and he went up to Washington and he wanted to get on some committees and stuff, he found out there's basically pay to play.
Sure.
In order to get on a good committee, you have to raise money.
Right.
Well, how do you raise that money? You have these senators and lobbyists come to them.
Sure.
So when lobbyists give you money, they're not just expecting you to go on and be a nice guy.
There's strings attached.
So I think the swamp is deeper than what we ever realized.
Sure.
And I think it's time to, for a regular citizen.
Where do they put the people who don't want to raise any money for those things?
I say they get on the very low.
You get a closet somewhere, right? Yeah.
You get a very low committee position.
Okay.
Is where you wind up at.
I see. Okay.
The one that Congressman Butt done, I want to think was $500,000.
Okay.
I don't recall what his committee was, but if you want to get on the House Ways Means Committee and stuff, that's like those $1 million spots and stuff. So,
okay.
And don't get me wrong, both parties do it. It's not one party or the other.
It's the machinery.
Yeah. So to me, when you talk about committees, and I know this sounds very disruptive, it should be a matter of who's best for that committee, not who bought their way on.
What a novel idea.
Yeah. So, it would be who's best for that committee, who's passionate about that particular item.
Sure.
So Congressman Buck today would be one. As a young man, believe it or not, I felt like Howard Baker.
Okay.
And he went to Washington after he served office for us and worked for Reagan and stuff.
Right.
And,
right.
I felt like he was a good statesman. In a lot of ways.
Yeah. We could use a few good statesmen right now. Here's a nice fat softball for you. What do you think of Donald Trump?
I like Donald Trump's agenda.
Okay.
And I know that's the answer.
No, look, some people love him, some people hate him. Some of us are somewhere in the middle, and so that's why I thought I'd see where you stand on that.
Well, I'll tell you a little story.
Okay.
You remember when they were showing that video where he was supposedly making fun of somebody?
Yes.
Right. Well, I kind of took offense to that because I have cleft palate, right? So throughout my life, I've had people make fun of the way I talk and stuff like that. So I thought, well, if that man is going to make fun of that guy, if he met me, he might make fun of mine.
I mean, easily to assume that.
Right. Yeah. So at first, I was a little hesitant about him.
Okay.
But then I got to do my research, and he wasn't making fun of that gentleman. What he was actually, he's done it before where people don't have a disability. That's just kind of him,
Right.
I might tell you, well, so-and-so said this and that and do my arms that way. And so I found out he wasn't. So I think there's times that he's definitely not given a fair shake.
Sure.
There's definite bias against him. And I'll be honest, in the beginning, I was kind of like, gosh, and that, again, I got past that very quickly once I done my research, found out he wasn't making fun of the person. So I believe Donald Trump has the right idea about things. He's been disruptive. He wants to secure our borders. And when he does that, he's not just talking about illegal immigration. He's talking about human trafficking.
Right.
And drugs. So it's not just a matter of trying to be mean to people.
Sure.
And I think the left tries to spin that Donald Trump, hates everybody. And,
right.
And it's not that. It's, we have terrorist groups that would love nothing to infiltrate our country and have terrorist attacks. If you were a terrorist group, where would you come to the United States from?
Either Canada or Mexico, and I'd walk across.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think that, Donald Trump has a lot of great ideals. I think tax cut was good. But I think now we have to control our spending. I think, the United States has a spending problem. We can't keep going on this debt and expect our children's children to pay for it. And
sure.
So, I think there's a lot of fraud, waste, and corruption that Donald Trump is trying to clean up. And so that's where I stand on it.
And one man can't do it alone, right?
So that's right.
Yeah.
So I think he needs some real help. I think he needs someone that's going to actually legislate for him.
Sure.
Have some bills and where he says, hey, here.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, how you like this one? And legislate and work hard.
Right.
And be seen in our district.
Yeah.
Be a true representative of our district.
Okay. Well, the next one, you've sort of alluded to a lot of it, really, but it's what plans do you have if you win this elected office? What plans do you have for the position?
One of the main ones that, I think I've told you, one of the main reasons I got in was my pro-life stance.
Yeah.
So currently, Planned Parenthood does not allow the client to see a sonogram.
Right.
And the reason is they want to do the abortion. Because 85, 90% of the time, if the mother sees the sonogram, they change their mind. So one of the first pieces of legislation I would probably try to do, because I filled out all the pro-life things that come in the mail.
Yeah.
I would at least make it a requirement they offer the patient the opportunity. Hey, we're going to offer you. We're not going to make it mandatory, but at least offer you to look at the sonogram.
Sure.
And then if she looks at it and changes her mind, great.
Right.
So, I mean, there's heartbeat laws and stuff like that. So one of the first things I would go after is that. But one of the other things that's very near and dear to me is, and I know everybody loves to say this, but I've lived it, is the opiate crisis.
Okay.
I lost a brother in 2015 to the opioid crisis. His was not an overdose, but his was related to his opiate addiction.
I see.
His body had basically broken down to nothing.
Yeah.
And he used to have broad shoulders. And
Rots you from the inside out.
And he got an infection, and his internal organs just couldn't fight.
Wow.
And he was just a year older than me. So when he died, I think he was 51.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things Tennessee is doing is helping with that, but now they're using heroin a lot.
Sure.
Which that heroin comes from China up to the southern border that we're wanting to secure, by the way. And so they've turned to heroin because a lot of the new laws here in the state of Tennessee, Tennessee legislators have done a good job of making it a little more difficult to for you to go get a brand new opiate prescription.
Right, sure.
They've limited that amount and stuff. So I would, in my day job, I told you I'm an engineer.
Right.
So as an engineer, you're always looking for best practices.
Sure.
So to me, a federal role that could play in that is finding the best practices here in the United States, like Baltimore. The lady that runs their health, I forget her title, but she's over the health and wellness there in Baltimore. She's turned it around and really made a significant impact.
Okay.
So to me, you get those people together and you find the best practice that works, the best practice of prevention, the best practice of rehabilitation.
Sure.
You know, you find those things and you try to implement them and offer them up in other areas because, we lost over 65,000 people to overdoses last year.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
And so, I mean, that's something to be up in arms about. That's
sure.
That's more people we lost in Vietnam, and we lost that in 1 year.
Wow. When you put numbers like that, it all of a sudden.
So I would be very passionate about trying to, find those best practices and coming up with a solution. In my day job, I'm known for my problem-solving abilities and looking at things from the big picture and saying, this
sure.
is how we need to go.
I see. They're all connected, right? There's lots of strings.
So, and you said one of my plans for planning on winning. I'm trying to make sure there's not any other ones I'm missing. But I think that another thing that's kind of an embarrassment here in our state, 3 out of 4 of our veterans facilities are rated a 1 out of 5.
Sure.
With a 1 being the worst.
Is that common across the country, or is it just like primarily Tennessee?
I think there's some that are better than others.
Okay.
But I think it's kind of uncommon that you have that many in one state
that
are scored real bad.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think one thing that Donald Trump has done is good is he's going to make it easier for people to get fired for not doing their job.
Okay.
But I think we've had some poor leadership in the last few years over the VA.
Okay.
And to me, it's all about accountability. It's about accountability in our Christian walk. It's about accountability in our daily life. It's about accountability. And I think for a while, people that were running the VA were not necessarily held accountable.
I see. Sure.
So that would be something I would be passionate about, is trying to serve the people here in Tennessee and ensure that the Murfreesboro facility and stuff here start coming around and take care of our veterans, our heroes, our guys that went out here and served their country. I'm a Navy veteran myself, so hey, I'm going to take care of veterans out there, my fellow veterans.
Right.
I think I'm the only veteran running in this race. I think there's an independent running. He may be a veteran, but he would be the only one. There's actually 3 Democrats, and myself and Congressman Deja Lay, and then an independent. So there's actually 6 candidates total.
Okay, all right.
So after the primary,
so it's mano a mano for this Republican nomination, right? You versus Deja Lay, and that's it.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's way better than having a big field.
That's right. Not want to split the vote. So it's just Congressman Deja Lay and myself. So I actually sent a letter yesterday to, I believe it's his stepson, is Tyler.
Okay.
Requesting a debate. I think the citizens of the 4th District deserve to hear what the 2 candidates in the Republican Party have to say. And the Bradley County Republican Party has even offered up, hey, they want to see it too. They've offered to moderate, provide a facility.
I think every county would want to see that.
And, armed security, and, they've agreed all that.
Right.
So I sent that email yesterday, and I'm awaiting a response. I suspect I'm not going to get one, but hey, I've offered.
We're live right now on Facebook. I mean, you can call him out. This is like WCW, you know, wrestling, you know. Going to have a cage match between you and Desjardins.
Well, I think it's time that he's held accountable. Like, you know, earlier I talked to you about accountability, right?
Right.
So we should hold our.
That's what we're supposed to every 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they run as often as they do, because we're supposed to hold them accountable, and that makes them far more connected to the district, I think, personally. And so I'm glad you're running. It's a lot of work. It takes time and money, and you know, you could be doing something way more fun, you know, right?
I mean, I'm still working that regular job, which sometimes 60 hours, most of the time 50 hours a week. My wife and I recently got custody of her great niece.
Okay.
Back in August of last year, and she'll be 20 months old here on the 10th. And
I have an 18-month-old right now. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. So our children are grown. They're 30 and 32. So we're kind of starting over.
Wow. Do you need cribs or anything? We can ask for some donations.
No, we've had her since August. So things are going pretty good. But she gets car sick very easily.
Mm-hmm.
We went over to Bledsoe County another week, and of course from Cleveland to Bledsoe County, you got to go over the mountain.
Sure.
Other side, she blew chunks, you know.
Oh, wow.
So my wife doesn't get to come with me as often.
Sure.
And most people that have met my wife know that I married up.
That's
she's
good.
A very beautiful woman. We've been married for 33 years in December.
Wow, that's awesome.
And running for office, been away from my wife and our baby over the weekends and stuff. You know, I had to leave them this morning.
Yeah.
It's very busy. I was at another festival in Warren County this morning, drove down here for this interview, and now I'm going to Smyrna when you and I get done.
Exactly.
For Simply Smyrna. I have a booth down there, and so you folks out there want to come and meet me face to face.
Right. Come on down to Smyrna and you can join him. That's right. Well, I won't keep you much longer. Let's see here. What's your favorite charity?
Probably my favorite charity is we have a place there in Cleveland called New Hope Pregnancy Center.
Okay.
And they provide real prenatal care.
Yeah.
They have a sonogram machine, and they provide counseling. So for those young ladies that may be second guessing having a baby, they offer support that will hopefully help them make the right decision.
Sure.
So my wife and I donate money to them. So that would probably be one of my favorites.
That's great.
Now, one of them I like as well is Smile. You ever heard of them?
I have not.
That is where doctors, nurses go to third world countries and they repair clip out.
I see. Sure. I can see why it would be important to you. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So if you could go back in time and talk to 17-year-old Jack Maddux, any advice you'd give him?
17-year-old Jack Maddux. I would probably finish my college degree when I was younger.
Right. So
I'll be honest with you. Right after I graduated high school and I went to college for a little while, you know, I wasn't quite ready.
Sure.
The military helped me grow up.
I see. Okay.
My wife and I, we had our oldest son when I went in, but that really helped me.
Sure, the whole process.
Mature and grow up.
Become a man all of a sudden.
So I would tell myself to, you know, knuckle down, buckle down.
You think 17-year-old Jack would listen to you?
In a way. I was originally at 17-year-old, I was going to be a lawyer.
Okay.
And,
all right.
But once I got out.
You got smarter, huh?
No, I probably wish I still might have been a lawyer. Yeah. I like that kind of stuff.
That's good. Well, what do you do for fun? Other than run for Congress, what do you do for fun?
I play drums.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, I like going to the lake. Up until I ran for Congress, and I started running, we had a camper up on the lake.
Okay.
Friends that had boats and stuff. I'm a smart boat owner. I have friends with boats.
Exactly. Right. That's way better. Yeah, way better.
So I'm actually going to probably go stay with my friend tonight up here at Hurricane Marina.
Okay, sure.
He has a houseboat up there.
Oh, nice.
So
that's awesome.
I'm probably going to go stay with him. I don't own a houseboat, but I have friends with houseboats. So.
It's good to have friends, And then my toughest question I ever ask anybody, and this may be even more difficult for you because you're not from Murfreesboro, but what's your favorite restaurant in Murfreesboro?
Well, so quick story. Back in 2008, I actually lived in Murfreesboro.
Okay.
I was a quality engineer in Shelbyville at the Sharpie plant.
I see. Okay.
So that was right after I quit being a police officer.
All right.
By the way, I don't think we talked about that, but I'm a former Chattanooga police officer.
Okay.
When I was down there, I was actually the 2006 Rookie of the Year, Optimus Club Officer of the Year, and staff accommodation. So when I talk about hard work, I have a history of hard work. But we always like to eat at Toots. And if people come to business from out of town, we take them to Toots.
Sure.
The fried pickles are good.
Yes, I agree. I love Toots. Toots is a great restaurant. Good salad there, too.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to tell people before we let them go here?
Just that this is a grassroots campaign. Any support you could give me, I would certainly appreciate it. So far, I mostly have been self-funded because I've not went out here and asked for those big donations, but we're getting to that 2-month mark as of today. 2 months from now.
60 days, that's right.
The primary is happening. So I just bought a lot of signs, and I want to be very strategic with those signs. So if you live in a good strategic place and you're wanting to see a change in Congress, contact my campaign through Facebook. I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, website. You can check out. I have videos and stuff, and I just think it's time for a change. And I've been asked several times, what are you going to do when you get there if they try to, influence you? Well, I believe God has asked me to do this, and if God is involved, you don't want to disappoint. So another thing, I do believe in term limits. I signed the term limit pledge with the organization called Term Limits. Because I think, career politicians are really...
And they're like diapers, right? You got to change them, Yeah.
But I do appreciate you giving this opportunity to me.
Man, Jack, it's great to meet you. I'm glad you're running. I think it's important, and a lot of people wouldn't have listened. They've been like, maybe God doesn't want me. Maybe that's not what he means, because running against Desjardins, it's an uphill battle. I mean, this guy's an incumbent. He's got plenty of money behind him, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
What I'm trying to do, and I'm not trying to run a negative campaign. I'm really not. I met him. He's nice to me. He normally, now he may not after this video, I don't know, but normally he walks up to me, shakes my hand, and asks me how it's going.
Good.
But being a nice guy don't necessarily make you a good congressman.
Fair enough.
I think it's time we have somebody that's willing to put in the hard work. He's been given 8 years to try to put in that hard work. It's just not happened.
You're not the first to run against him, but you're one of the first that I've seen that's really laid out a great argument with conviction as to why you're running against him. I think most people that have run against him in the past, I mean, no offense in this statement, but most people that have run against him in the past, it's been for the office. They just wanted the power. And because they didn't really contrast themselves enough against him. Yeah. And you definitely have. And I really appreciate you taking time to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys, for watching. We got to end this one.